How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I'm your host, FaZe Crypto, and of course, today we will be doing some analysis of the current state of affairs where it comes to the cryptocurrency space. Today is, of course, June 6th, 2019. We're looking at a Bitcoin value going for 7,647 respectively at the time of making this video, and of course Bitcoin dominance at 55.5% and sustaining. So we will be discussing the future of the cryptocurrency space. We'll be going over some of the different points that I think a lot of people have expressed interest in. Then it's going to be pretty interesting, and I'm hoping that we'll all be able to gain something in the whole just by looking at the starting off pretty much with the Bitcoin's history, just from looking at like early 2012 to where we are right now. I think it speaks for itself to a large extent. The cryptocurrency space is, I think, rapidly evolved to an extent. And of course, we've got some people in the chat right here. Bought your first amount of BTC yesterday. Well, welcome to the club. Hopefully you'll get to see that Bitcoin rise in value over time. I think if you guys aren't already following this guy on Twitter, Pomp, you definitely should. His tweets are pretty awesome, and I think we are seeing some pretty interesting things happening in the cryptocurrency space. Of course, Bitcoin is a game of accumulation, and I think that it's definitely interesting to see just how the space has been making some really serious moves forward. We've seen a lot of opinions shift over the years. A lot of people going from being cryptocurrency haters essentially to staunch supporters, and I think it is sort of a flip-flop sort of dynamic, but let's get into it. So the news right here, we've got Bitcoin mining migrated from China to the United States. This is interesting development because of the reputation that China has developed for itself over the years of being, the mining center. But there are signs that Bitcoin mining is beginning to gain a foothold in the U.S., a win for the decentralization of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. I know a lot of people have voiced their concerns about sort of the amount of control, the amount of power that was in their hands. So, the more decentralized that things can get, I definitely see that as a plus for the longevity of the cryptocurrency space. The move is part of a deal with Core Scientific, a stealthy AI and blockchain firm helmed by former Microsoft COO Kevin Turner. It's definitely interesting to see, this quote right here: the dynamics of the POW ecosystem are starting to shift. In 2015 to 2017, we saw most of the infrastructure deployed under regions where electricity was plentiful but not necessarily regulated. Places in Asia or Eastern Europe, very little focus on blockchain as a application or platform. In North America, however, there was a focus on application and protocol development, but infrastructure had largely been ignored. In 2019, we're starting to see this dynamic shift. North America is becoming more focused on infrastructure, and China is making a big play for application development. So, it is pretty interesting to see drop to 5,000. This is sort of relevant. drop to 5,000 is because I think people fail to recognize the whole bull market, bear market situation that we have going right now. I mean, I think people are too excited, I think, because it's very easy for us to go right back to where we were. I mean, I think it feels like only yesterday we were stuck at that $4,000 level, very difficult to get out. And just the fact that we've seen this resurgence, I think that it's all sort of got to do with market manipulation at this point. I'm not very confident as far as maintaining this line that we're at right now. I definitely could see it going back to 5,000 pretty easily, but that wouldn't really, I just accumulate more. I see 7,000 as pretty expensive. So the analysts further pointed out that the recent upward price moment of the world's number one cryptocurrency effectively managed to negate the chance of buying BTC in the $3,000 range again. If instead price had corrected to 5K, those lower prices may have been revisited briefly. I think that it's interesting. People always want to buy their Bitcoin when it's really, people want to buy it when it's expensive. People don't necessarily want to get it when it's cheap. It just goes to show you how much the hype, has its part to play. But, I don't see us as completely out of the woods yet. I do think that there is still some opportunities to get in at some of those more cheap prices, but that's all par for the course. Binance Coin, I believe Binance Coin was probably one of the most top performers of 2019 year to date. The cryptocurrency market has a number of coins showing prospects of performing better in the future. At the moment, the Binance Coin BNB and Ethereum are among assets that appear promising. For starters, BNB is the native cryptocurrency of the Binance exchange. The asset is currently occupying the 7th position with a market capitalization of $4.3 billion. I think holding percentages also will be a good thing. Long term, like you guys know, I'm very optimistic about the cryptocurrency, but the day to day, I try not to get too distracted. In the world where central planners push that cryptocurrencies look better every day, I think the natural progression will go towards the cryptocurrency space. This article sort of exemplifies a key element in that point. Economists have been predicting a worldwide recession, which could pose a risk to financial stability throughout various countries. Fear of an economic downturn has caused the central banks of Australia to cut interest rates on today and Tuesday. Both of the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Reserve Bank of India are in the midst of discussing slashing interest rates as well. At the same time, Facebook plans outside foundation to govern cryptocurrency. So I think that they're trying to get out ahead of this before it really becomes big news. Facebook plans to try to control forthcoming cryptocurrency to outside backers. So it is interesting to see just how these different parties have been essentially positioning themselves strategically. And especially with what we've been seeing happening, in the space. Cardano, for anybody who's interested in Cardano, Charles Hoskinson expresses intention to create a Google Facebook infrastructure to handle system loads. This is definitely very interesting. Look at all these ads, man. I'm going to start using the Brave browser for these live streams in the future. But this quote, we know how to build a Ethereum virtual machine from scratch. We've done it twice, but we decided to focus on where we're going, where we're getting the biggest bang for our bucks in terms of innovation. Charles Hoskinson concluded by stating that building a crypto system no longer requires the ability to code, as most of the current innovation involves collecting and marrying the best So, I mean, it is interesting to see just, Facebook to unveil global coin in June, Ripple listed on Swiss commercial registry, and more. So, I mean, regardless of where we go from here, I think that the cogs in the machine are spinning. We are witnessing the paradigm shift of, the cryptocurrency, the age of crypto is right on top of us. I mean, it's interesting just to see. I mean, you type in, it's just the recent articles, it's all about Facebook's plans, June 18th cryptocurrency debut, here's what we know, and all these different things. So Facebook's new cryptocurrency may launch this month. It's all about these big players coming into the space and throwing their weight around, which is a good indication for where things are going. I mean, I would say we're due for a pretty interesting resurgence of the cryptocurrency space, as things continue to develop. Paying close attention to moves being made by XRP. Of course, I think XRP is very interesting crypto to pay attention to in terms of the moves that are being made by the establishment, which is also a very interesting thing to keep an eye on. As far as how we've been seeing a lot of these different developments taking place. And of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Of course, this video is not financial advice. You remember, I'm not your dad. Always make sure you do your own due diligence on these things. But yeah, I mean, I am interested in seeing how XRP is going to be, faring up. I know a lot of you wanted me to comment on the GitHub hack, which is interesting, of course. Ripple and how the overall cryptocurrency space has been affected. But overall, I mean, I think that the space has the ability to repair itself. I think the future is there. The possibilities are pretty much endless when it comes to this sort of space, and the massive potential that we see with cryptocurrency in particular, where we could actually witness in our short span of 2019, with at least what's left of it. I think we'll be seeing some pretty exciting things happening. Top performers at the time making this video, of course, we've got some interesting cryptos, but I really wanted to talk about BTC too. That's making massive gains, up to 474%. Pretty exciting stuff for people who are in that camp. We'll see where it goes from here. I mean, I'm starting to think that just anything with Bitcoin in the name is due for some sort of attention. The only difference is that for the contract lifetime, we hold funds in our Lightning wallet. Yeah, so I think Ethereum has a very interesting future ahead of it. I mean, the fact that it's already been able to establish itself, with its current level of prominence, I think it's a sign that the future for Ethereum is going to be a pretty bright one. I'm excited for Ethereum. I mean, every time Bitcoin gets pumped, Ethereum is right along with it. But yeah, all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting to pay attention. I mean, with what Tron, the Warren Buffett dinner coming up, very exciting things. I think that the space is taking some serious moves. But all that being said, have a nice day, everybody.